ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Hannah Wise.
Hello. So, over 3.2 million people a year are bullied, and sadly, I am one of them. So, ever since kindergarten, I have been bullied, whether it was verbal bullying, physical bullying, every type. And I'm not quite sure why, still, but I can tell you that it didn't make me feel good. And we played house, of course. We played house. It was kindergarten. And I remember my school, this was a public school, we had this whole set in our kindergarten class that had a bed, like a doctor's kit, a kitchen, but it was all fake. And we would play house. And since I was bullied, the people didn't give me a lot of attention. Sometimes when I would walk up to them, they would even pretend I was invisible. They would ignore me. I would try and talk to them, but I would want to be the sick one that everyone would tend to because I wanted some attention a little bit. So I was usually the sick one, and the kids usually let me be. I don't know why. I don't know why about a lot of things, but one day, someone in my class didn't like that I got to be the sick one. I don't know if they maybe wanted to be the sick one or if they just didn't like the thought of me being the sick one that everyone would tend to, but they decided that they were gonna push me to the floor and try and punch me. And so the person, she pinned me to the floor, and right as she was about to punch me, my teacher came in and pulled her off of me. That was sort of the time where I started to realize that people were bullying me, and I started to realize how people could act, the abilities of other people. And I only had 2 friends back then, and only one of them were loyal, or at least I felt that way. But all that bullying in kindergarten, all the negative energy, it really made me feel worthless because I was young. I couldn't disregard the names they would call me. They would call me fat, cow, and they would tell people not to be friends with me because I was fat, and they would become fat if they were friends with me. So I couldn't understand how people could be so mean. And it made me feel worthless, made me feel like I didn't know why I was at that school. I didn't know why I even tried anymore. Then in 1st grade, I got more friends, but rather than the girls bullying me, we went over to the boys. And the boys, they not only verbally bullied me, but they physically bullied me. And I vividly remember once, we were walking in the hall, and we would have people in the back and people in the front. And we were around a corner, and I was in the back with the boys, not by choice. And the leader of the boys' pack, he decided it would be fun to push me onto the floor. And he pushed me, and when I didn't fall to the floor, he pushed me even harder, and they all started to laugh. 1st grade and 2nd grade were not a fun time for me because it really made me feel self-conscious, and it made me be more aware of my body image. And it made me feel as if I couldn't disregard the comments. I looked at myself the way other people would look at me. I would get upset with myself. And in the morning, if I would get dressed and something made me feel fat or large, the object that made me feel that way, I would take off as fast as I could, and I would throw it across the room rather than folding it and putting it on my bed or hanging it up in my closet. And I would start to cry. And that was sort of something that triggered for me all that sadness and negative energy. Then in 2nd grade, I switched schools to a private school, which I was expecting to be all fun and dandy and very sort of, woo, rainbows and unicorns. And so I remember we were going back to school shopping. I love back to school shopping. Now I do, at least. And we were going clothing shopping, and I would just, rather than looking at the clothes, do I like this pattern? Do I like the way it looks? I would look at it as if there were other people looking at me. Like, I don't like the way that it's tight right there. I don't like the shoulders. I would be very aware of what it looks like on me. And I couldn't choose anything that I liked for myself. I always had to choose something that would either hide my body or would look better on me than other clothing. And it didn't take long for my new school for another bully to find me. And he didn't physically bully me, but his words were absolutely cruel. Still calling me fat. They would look up and down my outfits, glare, It wasn't necessarily a fun time for me. And as soon as I thought my self-esteem couldn't get any lower, it got lower. I thought I hit rock bottom with self-esteem. And in 3rd grade, I decided that I needed to take action. So I started an anti-bullying campaign at my school. And I would do speeches on the PA. I would make speeches at my school's assemblies. I would go to classrooms and do skits about what to do if you're being bullied, or what to do if someone you know or your friend's being bullied and you witness it. And I even started an anti-bullying club. And we would all go, I believe, on a Thursday at recess with my social worker. And we would sit in a circle on our blacktop, and it consisted of one of my friends, 2 school bullies, and one other person. And we would talk about the fine line between bullying and just making a comment. A comment is saying something not so nice, but you didn't intend for it to be mean, and you find out someone doesn't like it, and you stop doing it. Bullying is consistently doing mean things, and you know that it's hurting the other person, and you intentionally do it. And we also talked about, just like I said, what to do if you see someone being bullied, and we also talked about how to know if you're a bully. And then in 4th grade, we got our bullies down to 2 bullies in our whole grade. And we decided, me and my friend, we decided, rather than doing another anti-bullying campaign, to do a self-esteem campaign to fix the damage. Because I knew that my self-esteem was low. And if other people were bullied as bad as me, which I'm sure there were, then I needed to do something about it. So we did announcements on the PA. We did skits. We did school assembly things. And then we also did a self-esteem club. And we would just play these games. And I remember this one game where we would have a sheet of paper with each person's name who's in our club on it, and everyone would have to write one nice thing about that person in it. Because, if someone wasn't necessarily the popular kid in the grade or that well liked, then if they looked over at someone and they saw that someone got like 12 things and they got 2, I'm not sure they would feel so happy. And that club was the start of my self-esteem coming back, my self-confidence, because it helped me become the person I am today, helping others, realizing that that club not only helped others, but it helped me, because those exercises, I took my own advice. I started to like the clothes that I wore. I started to pick out clothing that I liked, and I didn't look at myself the way other people would look at me. And now there's almost no bullying in my grade. And rather than physical bullying or anything, there's more gossip than anything. Gossip has been adapted into our society. There are gossip magazines, gossip columns, gossip, gossip, gossip. And, even if it's saying, oh, her shirt looks nice today. Or if it's saying, she's not a nice person, don't be friends with her. Either way, it's gossiping. I know it's a human nature to gossip. I mean, it's impossible for no one to gossip. We all know that. Just admit it to yourself. And so I was recently a part of something where people were gossiping, and I even helped stop it. So the first tip is, if you hear someone gossiping, defend the person, because obviously they probably won't be there. If they're there, that would just be... But if you see someone who's being gossiped about, they're not there to defend themselves. So even if it's not necessarily your best friend or someone who you're not friends with, defend them. And I used all of this negative energy from bullying and the gossip. I used the negative energy into positive energy. Because if you're walking around with all of that weighing on you, you have that energy. You just need to turn it into something. And when you push enough, the energy pushes you to be better, and you can do better with it, even if it's negative. Energy is something that you can use either way. You can use negative energy to be sad, sluggish, do bad things, or you can use positive energy to push yourself, help others, inspire others. And that's what I hope that I can do. And in the words of Sarah Bareilles, nothing's gonna hurt you the way their words do when they settle beneath their skin. Kept on the inside, no sunlight, sometimes a shadow wins. But I wonder what would happen if you'd say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you wanna say and let the